one of my favorite things. But Victor, first of all, tell everyone who you are and where you are.
I'm Victor Curry with Douglas Elliman in Los Angeles. Go to the Pasadena area there and Newport as well in Orange County.
Okay. So when I said who's in the luxury space, you and everyone else went, what's the ad? What do you mean by
Well, for me, the as I was far more luxury before COVID, and for some reason we moved, as you know, but everyone else doesn't. We moved back up to LA from Newport Beach right before COVID hit, and so I wasn't in my niche area which is Newport Beach is a very luxury market like Beverly Hills. And then when we got up here, it just seemed like all the people who were coming to me were about 50% of my previous price point. And so even though the numbers by national standards would still be considered luxury amounts, they're not luxury properties as much as they used to be.
okay. You know what? I'm glad that you gave that clarification because it's better than what I just
Mhm.
did.
Mhm.
Um, being in the luxury space, what do you think it takes? Like when you have the luxury buyer, when we're talking about net worth, what are they worth?
Pregnant woman?
And
Yes.
Joanna, I'm
Um,
muting you because you're unmuted there. Go ahead.
I'd say, the luxury buyer here, I mean, net worth is harder because I think we're an aspirational area, and you have a lot of entertainment people who will spend more than they should. You have to sometimes tell people don't overspend because people do get a little crazy what they think of. They want to show the luxury rather than be able to afford it. Uh, 5 million
Okay.
probably for a true luxury thing to be able to afford that $3 to $7 million house.
So having a
Uh,
net worth of 5 million to buy a
to
$7 million dollar.
well, I mean, at some point you have to just get practical as a buyer and
Mhm.
go, am I going to be? Do I know that that the future will carry, that same level of purchasing power that I have at the time I'm buying? This is, we're in a volatile place, and hell, look what just happened. We just lost, how many billions of dollars of real estate here because people are buying in these luxury properties in fire areas. Malibu's done that forever, and it just did it again. And Brentwood, and here where we are, I was just looking at the numbers. There are 9,000 properties gone, 5 miles north of me.
Sure.
So it's so that it's hard to say because you could say a luxury property, at the average price point around here is about 1.5 million for a standard three-bedroom tract house, uh, built in the 1950s, 1960s. So in most of the country, that's a serious luxury number if you're in Oklahoma or Kansas City or something like that.
Sure.
Where a luxury property here is, the property itself is probably 4 million and up.
Mm.
And around here you've got $100 million properties all over the place. But
Well,
I'd love to get some of those.
good. And I'd love for you to do that. Before I get on to Paula, and Paula loves it when I pick on her too, the Queen of Queens. Before I get on to Paula, I want to throw a thought out to every one of you. I learned so much from everybody here. And I think all of you, everyone, no matter who you are, you could learn from the janitor, you could learn from the billionaire. There's things that you could learn. And this is a place where you actually take this in. There's stuff that I've learned, and I could give example after example of how I learned stuff, put it to use, and actually made money from it. But the thing that I learned is that so much of the luxury space is you. It's your own self-esteem. There was more than one person who stepped into this meeting, and when I spoke with them privately, they both said it was eerie how it was the same words. Ed, I don't swing in those circles. Okay. When they say swing in those circles, it means that somehow they are less than the people that they are serving. I think service is incredible. I think it's important. I work my ass off because it's the right thing to do. But this is not a place where people should come and expect a master-servant relationship. No, the top agents in the world are not. Look at them. Watch any of those television shows. They work very, very hard, but they're always partying with their clients too. Now, the shows might be a little misleading and all that, and maybe the partying is all right, and they get off the phone. It's like, great, fantastic. They hang up and you see, boom, he made $300,000, $400,000. I wish life worked that well. But the point that I want to make to all of you is before you go a step further with all of this, if you give the answer like, and I'm not saying that that was you, and I'm not saying that was Paul, and I'm not saying that was Alicia, I'm not saying that was any one of you. What I am saying is that some of you may feel that you're somehow not worthy of that particular space. And that's something, there's a great book, Daniel, if you could look it up, Psycho-Cybernetics. This guy he wrote the book way before Tony Robbins. It was written, I think, in 1962. The guy died in 1974. So, not a psychologist, not a motivational speaker, at least not by today's terms. He was a plastic surgeon. And one of the things that he discovered was people were going to him and saying, young girls were saying, I need bigger busts, smaller busts, a better nose, a better this, a better that, because they felt that this was going to change their lives. And he gave example after example that people don't necessarily need the magic of surgery. They need plastic surgery on their self-image. So there's no way of talking about the luxury space without at least getting that out early on. I'm going to give you some of the technical side of it as well, because everybody likes that. But if you really feel, if you're giving the answer like this, and if you're really thinking about that, think about what it is and your relationship with the client themselves. Also, I want to say at this point, you could see this little, Daniel put that little QR code in here. For the members here, if you're not yet part of our WhatsApp group, you could just take your cell phone and scan that. For those of you who are on with your cell phone, just call, or Daniel will put a link up as well for you to click. So that, Paula, can I pick on you?
Yes, absolutely. Not
Okay,
picking on
so
them.
so tell me about the luxury space. Who are you selling in the luxury space, and why were you going,
Well, because a lot of times when you see a luxury market, well, we're luxury in this market is like 2 million and up. The
great?
average price is around a million. You go over 2 million. Problem with those listings is that they tend not to sell. You've got a much smaller buyer pool.
Mm,
It's not about my worth. I mean, I've been doing this for 41 years, so I really know the business. I am not intimidated. I'm not a wealthy person, but I'm also not, poor by any means. But the thing is, I'm not intimidated by money or people that have more than me. However, I like to do deals that sell quickly.
sure.
And I don't want to waste my time a year. Sometimes these properties can sit so long. But now what I'm seeing in the luxury market is that they are moving much, much quicker. If it has a lot of appealing features that 1.5 million property doesn't have, those luxury properties tend to sell. And now they're selling pretty fast.
I just muted somebody just because their background noise. Good, yeah.
Before they weren't selling quickly. So that's why I kind of, I did this. It's, well, I kind of want to stay away from them. Would I go after, there's a section of Queens called Malba
Hmm.
that got some Mets players that live in and some very wealthy people. Those numbers are sometimes in the $4 to $7 million range. So they're really, really expensive. But when you take on those properties, you're gonna have them sitting and sitting and sitting, and it's really frustrating. So I'd rather go for I mean, I had a under $1 million property selling in 2 hours in one weekend. 20 people came through in an hour, and I was sick that weekend, and my husband came back in the door and he said, never do that again, because there were so many offers. We had 7 offers in one day. So which would you rather have? You know?
You know what? You just read my mind. So, folks, this goes out to any one of you. This meeting is not, again, my biggest deal last year was $8 million. My smallest deal was $330,000. I've got a big spectrum. It's a huge gap. And I'm a luxury broker. I say that all the time. I am a country club and gated community specialist. Damn it. That's what I am. The house, it was an investment unit that I sold for one of my clients. So, but I'm still within that space. And I think you need to wear that brand if you want, but it's not necessary. If this meeting is about getting luxury deals and certainly the higher dollar amount, and certainly that's where I want to be. If Paula does 30, $500,000 deals and that's what makes her happy, that's fantastic. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But let me Paul, ask your question again. You just posed it. You just
Me?
said, yeah. What was the question you asked yourself? What do I want?
Right. I mean, the thing is, which would I rather have? But I have a question for you. Like in your luxury market, do they sell fast? They probably do.
They sell probably faster than yours.
Yeah.
And it depends
definitely,
upon if it's priced well.
right.
I strategically moved I'm the poorest guy in the wealthiest neighborhood, and I'm much better off than most Americans. I mean, I count my lucky stars for all that. I have a lot more than most people. I work very hard, and I try very hard to maintain it. But no, when my neighbor is Leon Cooperman, who's always on CNBC and he's worth $4 billion, hey Ed, how's the market? I pay for that. I want guys like him to say that to me. It is a gigantic risk for me. If I have a bad year here, I'm kind of screwed. So it's an awful lot of a lot of pressure. So the typical net worth, I was trying to think about it in my immediate area is so high, so much higher than mine. And it's a pretty good place to be because here's the other thing. When I moved in here, it was very cheap to actually get a membership. Yesterday, they just announced, and Aton's going to be shocked at this one. They just announced our country club entry fee is going to be $400,000 starting on April 15th. Yes. Now, why do I like that? I like that because that keeps any other realtor out. Most realtors can't afford to move in here. I moved in when it was dirt cheap. So to me, I found an artificial means of being a dominant guy within this particular community. I want you to find an artificial means of being the dominant person within that particular space. So let me ask, who looks at this and says, I need more of you to kind of define, maybe Andy Neal could jump in on this. What is a luxury broker? And Andy, do you consider yourself a luxury broker?
Um, no, I live in a luxury area. I'm trying to be a luxury broker, but I don't want to be defined by that. I'm a client agent. If I can, and what I mean by that is I work with clients in any spectrum, within reason. But I'd like to be known as a luxury broker. Of course, I would.
Okay.
It's tough.
What's stopping you?
I mean, clearly, I'm not from here, so it's taken a
You
long
got that
time.
voice, man. Victor's gonna kill for your voice. Look at how jealous he is. I'm joking, but you got that. There is something to it.
The voice has got to be heard by the right people, right? So I need to get in front of the right people that don't. I mean, for example, I live in Windermere, which is just outside Orlando. Tiger Woods, before he moved down south, Shaquille O'Neal, big names live here, lots of celebrities, but they know the local brokers that have been here for years, and they've got a book from mummy and daddy, and they've taken on their legacy. So it's hard for me to break into it. There's too many top agents in this area, so it just takes a break, and that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about that. First of all, where are the luxury buyers or sellers coming from? If anyone's done a luxury deal, I'll give everyone knows I get a lot of deals from my club here, but I also got two great deals, over 3 million each, from the executor of the estate. So the executor of estates, I mean, I've made a lot of money off of that. The executor of estate was a very good thing. Give me another service provider or another route into what you would consider that high net worth individual. Andy, you could pick on it. Aton, any one of you could throw this out.
Attorneys.
Attorney.
Yeah, probate attorneys. I picked up some good deals on probate attorney luxury last year. Estate planning attorneys as well.
Okay. So now, Andy, what kind of campaign can we make around those types of attorneys? In other words, about a marketing campaign. Some of you get my emails, and all of you got invited to this meeting today, and that's by design. This is a profitable business. I'm trying to get you in. I mean, the cat's out of the bag. Now, what could be done to elevate you among those attorneys? You might not have the answer right now, but I want you to email me the answer today.
That's what I'm trying to find.
Okay, or by the end of the meeting, or blurt it out. If you suddenly have a brainstorm, I want to hear it. What would get Andy into that? Prince or Victor or Aton? Somebody throw something out. What would get Andy in with these attorneys? What can he do in a marketing campaign to appeal to them?
There are attorney networking groups that allow others in. That is a good way to meet them a lot of the time.
Maybe. Okay. So
it certainly does with like the probate and those kinds. Usually there in most large areas, there's usually a group of all people who do probate trust and things like that. And those attorneys are there.
Okay.
Or maybe
you can always close with them too.
Sorry, Octavia, we'll get you in a second. Who was that? I heard a voice from somewhere. The lady's voice. Okay, Octavia.
I was just saying you can always close with them as well.
Okay. You could always close with who?
The attorneys.
Okay,
You can, yeah, you can, close with them when you're closing your deals and build a relationship like that.
okay. It's an idea. Certainly hire them. I
And there is one more thing, like they can go in the seminars, like attorney seminars, conferences. They can meet more people there, like highly rich people and more other attorneys. That's another, I think, that's a good thing.
I love it. Thank you, Prince. Let me throw
Mhm.
something out to you. I've said it before in meetings, so if you heard it before, just bear with me. I had a client in New York who sold life insurance. He had the same, his tax return. He said, "Oh, I have it done by 10 different accountants." What the hell do you mean you have it done by 10 different accountants? He had 10 different accountants, it's a true story, do the same tax return, and he would only submit one of them. And he tried to get lunch once a quarter with each of these accountants. So just there's 4 quarters in a year, 10 tax returns that were done, 40 lunches a year. That's a little bit less than one a week. It's a little sleazy. It's a little kind of like he's not submitting it. But going back to what was said, you could hire them. Octavia said that you could hire them. Well, that's what the guy did. He actually hired all these CPAs because why? The CPA has the leads. That was his whole marketing plan. He said it's like 1,000 or 800 $1,000 for a very simple return. He had them do it. And now that I'm a client, I've got the right to ask that CPA for leads. And the ones that actually gave him leads, he kept. And if nobody responded or didn't do anything, he would drop them off and then pick up another accountant. It doesn't feel so, it feels a little slippery to me. But there's one thing that you'll hear me say over and over again. Break the rules, but not the law. What I just described, at least here, is not illegal. It might be kind of sleazy. It might not be so great, but if you think that that's going to work for you, then damn it, do it. I don't want you to break the law. I don't want you to hurt anybody. But for whatever reason, this life insurance guy swore by it. It was his entire marketing budget, and it worked. So I just throw that out as an idea. Now everyone's saying, "Oh God, Ed's a little sleazy here. I don't want to do that business that way." Great, don't. I don't. But I won't disrespect you for doing it. So I'm throwing that out. Who's got some other ideas that we could jump on here? The luxury space. Maybe Susan. I don't know how it's done in Chicago. Or we've got Powerhouse Collab. Who's this? I like anyone such a bold name, Powerhouse. That's kind of cool. Dana. Any one of you? Hassan. Anybody?
Charity stuff, by the way.
Hmm.
If you can get involved with a charity that has a lot of high-end benefactor types. I used to do stuff years ago, pre-real estate, where we did things for the Blind Children's Center in LA, which was and I used to donate all the video production things for their tournament, Riviera Country Club, every year. And so everybody there knew me, and they were all, most of the people there, James Garner and Peter Falk and all the, name people that are there. So you have access to people in that, and you may be the more involved person because you don't have the money to play billionaire donor level, but because you're the one who's most involved, the people get to know who you are, and so they know your name.
Sure. Look, Leon invited me to a fundraiser. It was for underprivileged children in Palm Beach County. It was a very obscure thing because aside from his friends, these were not the wealthiest people in this meeting, but he's a very, very, very charitable man. He's one of the most wonderful, he should live forever. I adore this guy. He's a great human being, just a real humanitarian. When he dies, at least 90 cents on the dollar, 90% of his money is going to charity. He signed the Buffett Pledge. He's a wonderful human being. I just think he's great. And when he, sent out an email, can anyone come? I cut a check. It was $600 to go to this thing. Nobody else had been there. Now, how did the leader of that, get him? She asked. She got in touch with him and she reached out to the guy and he responded because he's just a charitable guy. And now this woman is in with one of the top people. Now, her big thing is her charity and she's not trying to sell anything. But if you could appeal to your target base on a charitable level, guys, I think you should have some sincerity to this. Again, you don't have to. I think it will come through if you are passionate about it. So if you're passionate about literacy or lack thereof, if you're passionate about certain things, getting in with that group makes a lot of sense. But it's going to take a campaign. It's not that you're just going to cut a check and walk away or go to a fundraiser and walk away or make a phone call. It's going to take a campaign. I never promised to any of you that this was going to be easy, but I do promise this. It's rewarding. It's rewarding as hell if you actually try and do this. The people who have more than enough, more often than not, care more than just about their lifestyle. There's a lot of people who could give a rat's ass and not care, and to them, that's great. The ones that do care, you could really get in with them on a level that, especially a billionaire. This guy, he knows I'm poorer than him. He knows everybody's poorer than him. I mean, there's nobody richer than he's at the top of the mountain, and he's humble. The guy's golf cart is 25 years old. His car is nondescript Genesis. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's not what you would expect. Everyone else has a vision of a billionaire as living. My kids went trick-or-treating. We stopped by his house and his wife was passing out candy. My daughter put her bucket in to get a second candy, and his wife went, "Only one." They're that kind of people, but I love those kind of people because they value human relations. That's what I want you guys to think about. You're looking at this all wrong in many cases. You're saying to yourself, you want to get an arm up and be kind of pulled into a master-servant relationship. And while that works sometimes, name a top agent that isn't seeing eye to eye with the luxury space. Just name one. Almost always they are peers with these people. Almost always, by reputation, they are something a little bit special. And you, in many cases, are treating yourselves as just the service provider. Being very clear, come to this with a mind of service, but go in this with an eye to eye. You have to see them that way if you really want to break into that space. That's my calling on that. Who else? What else do we, this is fun. Who's got some other thoughts on this?
The other thing I thought of was like to join like a private country club.
Right?
There's not too many around in Queens, but they are in Long Island. But that takes time,
Yeah.
to your relationships and things like that. They have two people play golf together. That's a whole nother level of membership, which is expensive. But it does take time to get in with people that have, the money or the contacts. It's all about the contacts. If you don't have contacts, I don't have those kind of contacts. So,
Paul, are you ready for this piece of advice that you're about to make money off of? Everybody get your pens ready. This is a good one. Okay. Oh, excuse me. I gotta go. I'm just kidding. Here's the piece of advice. Start an internship program. What do I mean by that? Get a spreadsheet together. You got people that have a business that might need an intern. You got other people who have kids in college that need an internship. Doesn't matter whether they actually get the internship or not. If you help me get my kid a job, if you make an effort for that, that is better than helping me. I got news for you. My kids are my number one thing in this world. So if you find a way to actually be that conduit between, a business that needs an intern and my child's future, whoa. And this is something that if as a group you want to set up an automation on this, I'm all for it. But I need you guys to like put a text out to me or reach out to Daniel that we'd like to have a separate meeting about this. I've done this over and over again, and boy, does it work. Boy, does it work. If you really want to try and get in with somebody, you actually help their kid, help next of kin. Everyone, the easy thing people could think about is recommending a doctor. Well, oftentimes you're just getting somebody with a good bedside manner. If you actually help my kid, I owe you. And I will make good on that owing you. If you help out my charity, I owe you. It's the law of reciprocity. It will come back to you. But this is something that's on a much, much bigger and better level. So, Paula, did you like that? Maybe? Yeah?
yep, I
Little
think it's
bit?
a great idea.
Okay. I'm trying. All of these things are vehicles. You need to tell me what is going to be your vehicle for success because up until now, so many of you are just hoping, and hope respectfully is not and never will be a strategy. It's just not. You got to actually find a way to break in with these particular spaces. So that's just one thing that I'm doing within the community, and it works really, really well. And you need to find a way. It's ideal if you're sincere about it. There's an old woman who lives in my community. Her name's Jackie. She's 88. Her son lives out of town, and I adore her. I think she's fabulous. I think if my mom were alive today, they would be friends. Actually, they'd be frenemies. They'd get together, kiss, kiss, hug, hug, play cards, whatever, and then complain about each other afterward. Everyone know that type of old lady? It's just sensational. I absolutely adore her. So her son lives far away, and she needs some help every now and then. So she'll call, Edmonds, I think there's a rat in my kitchen. Can you come over? I think there's a rat in my kitchen. I'm like, okay, Jackie, okay. Edmonds, I've got some bricks in my trunk. Can you come get the bricks out of my trunk? She's got bricks in her trunk, literally bricks. And I'm sweating my ass off in July doing all of this. Do you know something? This woman has introduced me to 4 people that were ready to sell. I didn't get any one of the deals, unfortunately. I wish there was a happy ending with that. But boy, talk about getting an ally. Talk about doing something. Now, she might introduce me to nobody. I'll still drop everything and run over to her for that reason. But are you living that kind of lifestyle with that kind of person? There's just a lot that you could gain from that. Again, no clear path, but you've got to decide what actually works for you. So, we could get some other stuff here. Get your, go in. And does anybody have a subscription to ChatGPT, the paid version? $20. Okay, Andy, Paula, Aton. I can't see the other people who are on the screen. Here's a piece of advice for you if you're using the paid version of ChatGPT. Open up ChatGPT. By design, it's memorizing things that you are telling it. And when I mean that, it keeps, there's a trailing memory of the questions that you've asked it in the past. Give them this prompt. ChatGPT, based upon what you know about me and knowing that I want to get into the luxury real estate space, what do you think my best attributes are? And what advice can you give me to break into such a luxury space? Please be creative. Please be unique. Please think about this no less than 3 times because it will iterate through its own memory multiple times. You might not know that, but the algorithm will go over the question over and over and over again. And then please print your answer. When you say print, that's a computer term. It's not printing it out like your printer prints it. It's actually coming up on the screen. You will be shocked. You could do the same thing about what do you think my biggest flaws are? You might not like the answer, but boy, it's better than any psychologist I ever had. It knows it if you've used this for a long time. So for those of you who are subscribed to these AIs, start to investigate, start to find out where they think your flaws are, your pros are, your cons are, what you should do to actually break into the space. Occasionally, it gives you a phenomenal idea. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's just very basic. But I just want to throw that out to you. And if you've got some success with that, please let us know. Please call us back and let us know if that's been something that works. Work on the brand of yours itself. I talk about this with my private clients when we're meeting one-on-one. I want you to make a marketing campaign around each person. I know that sounds a little bit overwhelming, but once again, has anyone heard that Operator has been released by OpenAI? Some of you might have heard. Operator is now, you could take a picture of what's in your refrigerator and you could upload it to ChatGPT's Operator and say that I want to have a lasagna tonight and I'm going to serve 8 people. Can you, get all the ingredients and order it from Instacart for me? And it will do everything else. It will know what you need. It will order it. It will pay for it. It will do all the stuff that you've given it permission to do. This
How
is the
does it,
start
how, excuse me, how does it order it from Instacart?
because the API is connected to Instacart. It's connected.
Without you paying extra? I mean,
Well, you're gonna have to pay for the food. You're gonna
I'm
have to.
only impressed if they
so
cook
you
it
need
for
you
me.
need that integrated, you need it into Instacart, you need an account, you need a
Yes,
payment
it's all
system.
set up.
Right. Can they cook it for me too? Cook it for me?
I can't cook
Show
it.
me a demo, man.
I'm not on to that now, but the videos are certainly out. Daniel, can you look up the OpenAI Operator video and put it into the YouTube video and put it up for everyone to see. This is just the beginning, guys, because there's other things that these operators are going to be able to do. And no other realtors are really doing it at this point. It's going to take a while for user adoption. When everyone adopts it, then it's not going to be so great anymore. Kind of like robocalls. I mean, it just becomes, but for now, if you're an early adopter, this is the type of thing that you're going to be able to utilize. Just get curious about it. That's just something that I want you to think about. Okay?
How
Okay.
does the task, ChatGPT with task work for you?
Task works very well. Task is also part of, again, they call it autonomous agents, where you could set a task of ChatGPT. I've got one to, on Friday mornings, look up all of the, um, what is it? Look up all of the AI news as it relates to realtors and email those top stories to me. And it will do that on a Friday morning for me because I've set that as an actual task. A little too basic at this point. Again, we're just getting started with this stuff. Tasks, they're just now introducing the whole notion of having a computer do stuff for you. Now, for those anti-computer people, that's fine. I agree. It's scary. It's bad, but it's here. So I don't like to argue over whether it's a good thing or a bad thing or moral or immoral. We need to learn. It's the same debate that I've had years ago with Zillow. Zillow's a reality. Get over it. You have to kind of work with it. I'm all about making the money. What to Paul's question, it might not be able to cook, but I bet it could schedule a private chef. Yeah, at some point it probably could. I think Paula deserves a private chef.
I do too.
I
The
think,
other thing I was going to add to this, Ed, as far as breaking into luxury or any listing, trying to get a listing, if you were going for the listing and obviously you want to, find out as much as you can, take that information, put it into chat before you get to the listing and try to impress the seller that, all these things about the house and this is how you would market it based on what you see in public record and,
yeah,
something along those lines.
all
And
this, all of this is something that is, people are. It's to me, it's just amazing. It's remarkable. It's stuff that I just can't believe we've got such, remarkable technologies that are coming this way. And when somebody says to me, "Well, it's not going to work," or "it didn't work for me," or it doesn't sound like me. Yes, today it doesn't sound like you. Today it isn't perfect, but it's not going to take that long for it to actually work. Now I'm trying to pull up. Let me just see this link here. Okay, let me just try this right here, just to give you a demo of an automation. This is not ready for prime time, but what I just put into the chat, if you guys want to give it a try, is you're going to need to put in your name, your telephone number, your bio, which you could cut and paste from any particular, if you have your bio up on a website, and then put in, just make a data dump of your listing or a listing that you want to have. And if it works, and for some people it's working, for some people it's not, like I said, it's not ready for prime time, it will email you back a property description for the MLS, 3 Facebook posts with emojis, uh, a cold calling script about that particular property, and a blog post about that property. Again, not ready for prime time. We will be rolling this out for the members only, and I hope it works, at least somewhat works for you right now. Some people said it's not working very well with Gmail. Other people have said, but what is amazing to me is that we can now, using this automation, aggregate information that matters to realtors. Eitan and I have been anxious and working very hard on a series of technologies for you that you could easily deploy cheaply or in many cases free, and again, bring it back to the office and make some money with it. If anyone gives it a shot, let me know. You could just shout it out right here or put it in the chat that it either worked or didn't work. It's going to take about, once you input the info, about 90 seconds for it to be emailed back to you. But be harsh on me because, again, I don't need you to say, "Oh, wow, it's great," when it wasn't great. I need to make sure that this thing actually works. Okay, Eitan said it worked. That's very nice. Thank you, Eitan. I
Are
don't know.
we just putting in the address where it says, please describe the subject property, or is it something?
I mean, you don't even need to do the address is
No,
nice, but you could do what I'd like. It's a 4-bedroom ranch, you know,
okay.
whatever stuff. If you're worried about plagiarism or something, you could take the description from the last listing agent, maybe throw in a couple of other
Mhm.
words, do whatever you want. But give it again, this is not, I don't want you necessarily using it yet for work. We have a couple of weeks to go, but I did want to roll this out to all of you. That's what we are about. Paula, go ahead.
It worked. It worked.
Worked?
Yeah, I just got a very long email with a description
Can you
and
share your screen?
yeah, I'm not good with that either, Ed. How do I do that? Share my screen.
Okay, in the
Share.
middle, there's a share button,
Yep,
which I've
share.
just given you permission to do.
Okay.
Get rid of your personal, if you have like credit
Nothing, but
cards.
where do I go to this?
Just click, no, you got to click share first because I'm not seeing you sharing it.
Oh, okay,
There you
share.
go. And
Uh,
now, hold on one second. Okay, great. So everyone gets, yeah, scroll up. Great. Okay, so I'll help you with the content. So there she has her MLS description. You got your Facebook posts with emojis. You got 3 of them. Scroll down a little bit. You got your cold calling script and you got your blog post. Good. Now, is it perfect? No. Don't use it without reading it.
right.
So, but that's what it is. So we have put together, we've worked very hard on these automations. It's not ready yet, but when it is, if anyone is interested in learning more about this type of thing, again, just please put that you're interested down in the chat and we will have you be some of our beta testers. Yeah, you could also email Daniel at Bogen Homes. But thank you for that, Paula. So you could see that there's so much that all of us could be doing with all of this, and that's what these meetings are really about. Okay, any other questions on the topic? Andy, Andy, every like once or twice a year, we do your thing about the getting foreign buyers. Would you be willing? I'm putting you on the spot, but would you be willing to do that with us again next month sometime?
Yeah, I think so. I need to send another mailer because it died off last year, big time.
Okay.
I'm doing another one in February. Let's do that, monitor the responses, and then we can do another one.
Okay. But traditionally, what percentage of your business were absentee owners?
55, 60%.
Okay. Almost 60% of this guy's business came from people who don't live here. He's got a very simple technique that'll work in your territory as well. If you want to learn about that, we're going to get Andy back on. That's just the kind of content that we put on. We're going to plan on having that. I'll talk about it with Andy. I'd love it in February or March, but we'll see what works best for him. Also, Daniel, do we have a topic for Wednesday? Do you want to share that with us? You could just, nope, can't hear you. Got to unmute there, baby.
Yeah, put it on the chat.
Did you? Okay. What? Mastermind. Social media reboot. This is great. You suck at social media? Perfect meeting for you. You're great at social media. We want to hear from you. That's fantastic stuff. So we're going to be talking all about that. This is an ever-changing thing. Basically, if people ask me, how do we make this? Eitan and I put together about 40 different topics that matter to all of you that we put into a cycle. And as new stuff comes up, we add that. Do we repeat? Absolutely. Everyone loves Andy's presentation. This will be his 3rd time or 4th time doing it with us. And it's so straightforward, so simple, and fucking A, it works. It works. I just think it's great stuff. It's enriched him and it's worked. It will work for you. So you got to come to that. Okay, that's the excitement. Sorry, guys, I get very jazzed over real estate. You got to forgive me with all that. With all that said, I want to open it up. We have wants, needs, and brags. Now's the time of the meeting, Prince and all my newcomers here. Now's the time of the meeting for you to tell us about something that you want, what you need, and what you might want to brag about. I will brag about my daughter. Today's her last day with William Morris talent agency in Los Angeles. She got a job with a startup headed by the former CEO of the Capital Group. It's 6 women that are in this business. My daughter's one of them. I've got great pride. As I said to everyone, I think family is number one. and I have got great pride in her, and that's my little brag today. Okay, very annoying father. I get it. I also am 3% grandmother. I did my DNA search, so I'm 3% grandmother. That's why I worry all the time. But I'm very proud of her. I'm proud of my business too, but I want to give that out as a brag. Who's got something they want to brag about, talk about, a listing they got, a charity they're a part of? Now's the time.
I'm just pleased for you. I mean, your daughter survived William Morris. That's not easy.
And
I know a lot of people who were destroyed by working at William Morris.
she's got a 65 people going to a surprise party for her tonight. She doesn't even know, I just found that out.
So cool.
So great
Very
pride.
cool.
You love to see her all
Very cool.
well. You really do. But thank you for that, Victor. Who else? Terrence, Johanne, Rachel, Hannah, Mandy. Any, don't be shy, guys. This is not, we're not going to bite, at least not too badly. Let me just see here.
Edmund, this is Terrence McGowan. How are you?
Nice to meet you. Where are you, Terrence?
I'm on the eastern shore of Maryland, so
Cool.
I'm licensed in Maryland and Delaware, and I guess to me the luxury market is really based upon the properties that are in your area.
Mhm.
We do have some multi-million-dollar properties, but we're right on the Atlantic Ocean, so you have a lot of second homes, and you have waterfront property and oceanfront property. So being licensed in Maryland and Delaware, the first one of the first, I guess, challenges that you have as an agent down here is the way Maryland handles their forms and Delaware handles their forms. So when you go to write offers or do a listing, they're completely different. But we have our challenges down here. But part of our issue, or my issue, is that our buyers aren't here. Okay, our buyers are in Washington, D.C., they're in Baltimore, Maryland, they're in Virginia, they're in Philadelphia, they're in New York. So besides the marketing aspect from finding buyers, we also have that added to how do you get in front of those people who, because they're not their primary residences. But then you also have, I also serve all the way from the Atlantic Ocean through multiple counties up to the Bay Bridge. So there's Talbot County and Dorchester County where you have, once again, waterfront properties, large properties that are on the rivers and tributaries, and St. Michael's. So there are challenges here, but just being, and I found, and I've been licensed over 20 years. And what I find is that realtors hate change more than any group of people I've ever been involved with. So it's just, once again, being educating ourselves and being open-minded to, as the markets change, seeing how to reach out to different groups of people. So, I like the markets I'm in, and it's a learning effect every day. But as we move forward, I just have to make sure that I'm open-minded about technology and what's happening as far as how to reach buyers and sellers.
And well, that's what we're all about here. And Aton was good enough to put up, if you want, please, there's a 30-day free trial for our mastermind. Although after that, it's $30 a month. You could stop at any point. So please, if you would like to give us a try and enjoy it, we'd love to have you do that. Rachel Black Johnson, I think you were trying to say something, maybe?
Hi guys.
Hi.
I have a win to share. I'm closing on a $2.5 million property today. Right now, I'm literally on emails trying to talk.
Okay. Rachel, I don't know you, but I'm doing cartwheels for you. I'm doing cartwheels. That is fantastic. No, you got to celebrate. We go through so much crap. It's
It's
so
been a long
difficult.
escrow. It's a commercial land deal, and I've been in escrow since.
Okay. That's great. Just remember this when it's raining out and no one's returning your calls, okay? Keep it very, very clear in your head. If it's not, but believe me, we go through so much crap. It's so important for you to see that. You made my day. That's exactly what this part of the meeting is all about. So thank you. Yes, dance. Do the happy dance.
Luxury buyers, I don't know where they come from. I've had a few luxury deals over the last year.
Hmm.
And I feel like, well, I got one from our corporate relocation. Relocation, they're gonna have money. And then the others is just from like meeting people and being a kind person, really, and just being outside and not saying no to going places and doing things. You know what I mean?
Great, great stuff. Thank you for that. And I see joining late, but I'll still take her, is my mentor and my dear friend and someone that I'm speaking to her later today about some personal business here. We all need it. Is Ingrid. Ingrid and her light just came on here. She's actually my broker, and so we all need. Just so you know, need my support as well. Ingrid, here's a quick. First of all, good to see you. And just got to unmute. So once she figures that out, pleasantries. There we
Sorry.
go. No worries. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good, good. So Ingrid, how many agents are under your commands now?
I manage two offices. Very excited to do so. Delray Beach and Boca Raton offices, and combined, I probably have about 280 associates in our offices.
And one of our associates, one of our colleagues, just listed a $285 million property. That's currently the most expensive residential property in the United States, correct?
Correct. It's really incredible, remarkable.
So good. I'm glad that we have you here. Better late than never. I just want to find out if you could give me a couple of characteristics, because I know you've seen them all. You've
Sure.
seen the losers that have been, people that were never going to make a buck in there, and the people at the highest level, whether it be this guy or Sonata or me or any of the other people in there. What characteristic do you think the top producers are really sharing? I was really hoping that you might give us a little bit of insights. If you had to put maybe a couple of characteristics, and by the way, Ingrid wasn't expecting this question. So
That's okay. I get asked questions all day long.
all day long. What characteristics makes the distinction be the people that really win and really win big in the luxury space and the people who don't?
Oh gosh, there's a lot. I think that that there's a lot of moving parts to that question. So what I've seen is that when agents get into the business, I've been doing this for 24 years, so I have a lot of experience leading offices and recruiting associates and retaining associates and building profitable offices. And I think that a lot of times when agents get their license, they think that this is a glamorous job. I mean, we have social media, so one of my biggest pet peeves is going on Instagram and seeing people say, "Oh, this is the day in the life of a realtor." They get their nails done and they go on a yacht, and that's not the reality. The day of the life of a realtor is constantly putting out fires, prospecting, getting deals, negotiating, going to inspections, being there for appraisals, doing CMAs, meeting with buyers, answering questions, and it's a lot, and it's a 24/7 job. It's not as glamorous as people think that it is. One of the characteristics of top producers is they're in this 100%. They're doing this all day long. They don't take a break. It's crazy. I mean, even when they're on vacation, they're constantly working. They're constantly putting deals together and building their business and prospecting and connecting, and they're relentless at what they do. They're building the relationships that they've cultivated through the years, and they continue to build this high trust selling with their customers who depend on them to be the professional, to be the go-to person, and to really, guide them. And that's, the top producers, that's what they do all day long.
Are they mostly listing agents or selling agents?
Well, I mean, there is a balance, but I feel that it's more listing. Yeah. When you have the listing, you control the business.
Are there any unique farming techniques or tools that you've seen some people use? That's kind of.
I have to tell you that I'm constantly thinking about these things because since I do talk to so many people every day, I think of different ways that you can make a difference as an agent. I really believe in utilizing today's technology and the ability to, for example, geofence.
Yeah.
Why not put a fence around a place that people are attending, that might be potential clients, and they're on their phone because everybody's like this on the phone all the time. Put a geofence around places. Put a geofence around the Miami Arena. Put a geofence around a concert. In places where people are going to do the mall. I mean, put a geofence around a development.
Daniel, make sure to remind me we'll talk about geofencing after. So when you say geofence, meaning it could pop up in, say, someone's Snapchat that you are, that
selling something, or that you're the go-to person for a certain development, or you're the expert in whatever it is that you are an expert at.
yeah.
Don't be a secret agent. Let everyone know what you do. And it starts off with checking yourself on the internet. Go online and Google yourself and see what a consumer sees. Are you putting videos out there about what you do? Yeah, people are looking at videos all day long. They're scrolling through Instagram, they're looking at YouTube, they're looking at Facebook. Are you on there? Because if you're not, someone else is, and they're getting business from it.
Sure. And there are people that see stuff. I want to throw out just a couple things. One, again, Daniel, remind me of this. Does everyone have a Google My Business page? If you don't, we need to talk with you about getting a Google My Business page. Is something that each of you should have if you're comfortable using your home address as your primary place of work. I suggest you do that. Now, why? Because if you come to St. Andrew's Country Club and you type in realtor near me, I'm the first guy that pops up on Google. It's organic and I'm not paying for it. And there's a certain technique that we will go over in next week's meeting about how to do just that. So if you're able to actually get that in there, when I go to a listing appointment, I'll say, okay, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, pull out your cell phone and type in realtor near me. 9 times out of 10, I'm the first guy that pops up. Okay, so what you really mean to tell me is that now you're going to be geofenced in this. Well, people are now seeing me there. I'm saying my other competitors, you're not seeing Michael, or you're not seeing Paul, or you're not seeing the other competitors in the neighborhood. And if I'm going to do that for myself, look at how I'm going to do that for you. One other thing that we're doing, again, not so high tech. I'm going to actually turn off my my background here. Let me just find where that is. You see, I'm just in a regular house, just like everybody else. This is something. This is my club. They put this out, and I got the idea because a competitor of mine made a map. Here's the map. It opens up, and you see the club, and you see all the houses, and it's all pretty and all of that. And on one side, we're going to have exactly that, where all the houses are. On the other side, we're going to have the golf cart map, which, believe it or not, the club never did. They just never made a map of the golf course. It's amazing to me. How could you do that? How could you not have a paper map? And my big competitor, his name's Dave Roberts. He's created this where you open it up, and then you see the picture of him and a little bio and all kinds of information, and you unfold it. And once again, you have this information. So we want to talk about owning an area. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to speak to one of my favorite mortgage brokers and say, this is going to cost me about $4,000. You want to go in half with me and I'll put your face on there. Now I just got them to share in the expense with me. How do you like that? So we went from super high tech. Thank you, Ingrid, for bringing up the geofencing, to super low tech. This is something that each and every one of you can do. And guess what? If your face is on the picture and it says the Edmund Bogen team at Douglas Elliman, and it's got this thing, welcomes you to St. Andrews and welcomes you here, you have made an investment that nobody else has done. And every one of your clients will carry you around in their pocket. And I can name at least 3 mortgage brokers that would love to get in on that. They'd love to be able to do that. There's your multi-million-dollar idea, guys. I hope you do it. Any other questions or thoughts before we move on? Okay, again, Daniel, if you could put or Eitan, one of you, put the little registration. If you haven't signed up for the free 30 days here, please, please, please do. We've got some great content. We run this 6 times a month to my coaching clients. We should be booked up for next week at this point. I meet with my clients one-on-one once a week. If you want to talk about that, please do. We have a whole marketing campaign that we are doing for people, and we have a CMA a day campaign that we do for several clients, where we are actually helping you by doing the CMA for you and bringing that out into the open for everyone to be able to utilize. We work with them one-on-one to be able to do not only the coaching, but the marketing. Really powerful stuff. That's it. I wanted to say to all of you, it was really great seeing you here today. I hope that all of you could join us on Wednesday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, for another exciting episode of Rain Nation. Thanks so much for coming, guys. feel like I'm on the Hollywood
Thanks, Ed.
Square or the Brady
Thank you,
Bunch.
Ed.
Okay, guys. Good to see
Thank
everybody.
you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Paula has that she's from Whitestone, and Hassan has that he's from Metro Detroit, and Andy has it, he's from Orlando. I think that's really important. You guys should have, when you're on these things, like not just your name, but where you're from, because then you could do referrals together.
Yeah.
And
does.
Pasadena, sorry, Victor.
Pasadena, you see Victor?
Hi, Victor.
You see,
Hi, Ingrid.
Victor.
Well, if you're out in our region, Ingrid, Peter Hernandez beats that into us. It's like, make sure that you have your information on your screen.
I love Peter. Please tell him I said hello and thinking
I will.
you guys. I hope you stay safe.
I'll see him in a couple of days. I'll let him know.
Okay, guys, gotta go. Good to see you. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Take care.